CuBeatz is a music production team comprised of twin brothers, Kevin and Tim Gomringer. They're from a tiny village in Germany. Despite being thousands of miles away from hip-hop hubs like LA and New York, they've been having a significant impact on the genre's sound for years. They've produced for a ton of mainstream rap artists in the US, like Future, Travis Scott, Logic, and 21 Savage. They've collaborated with other prominent producers like Murda Beats and Metro Boomin, and have co-produced chart-topping records like Summer 16 by Drake, Fifi by 6ix9ine, and Sicko Mode by Travis Scott. They've also been nominated for Grammy Awards 9 times, and they won once back in 2019. Despite all of their accolades and impressive collaborations, they remain relatively unknown. They're not as visible as producers like Metro or Murda Beats, despite being responsible for a significant portion of their charting records. A random person on the street is much more likely to be familiar with Metro than they are with CuBeatz. And maybe that's intentional. It could be that they're just more interested in the music than the clout that comes with the success. Let's get into the cook-up. I opened up this keyscape piano and I'm going to lay down a melody in G minor. For this beat, the main melody is basically just going to be an arpeggiated 1/5 chord progression. CuBeatz do that a lot in their melodies. I would play some examples to illustrate my point, but I don't want any copyright strikes, so you'll just have to take my word for it. Here's what I came up with. I added some effects. First I applied some RC20, then I added a bit of reverb, and lastly I used an EQ to cut the lows and dip out some unpleasant frequencies. Here's what the melody sounds like now. I opened up this harp preset in Contact and I laid down this counter melody. This melody also follows the same 1/5 formula as our main melody. If I move the second half up by 5 semitones, it's an exact copy of the first half. I added some effects. Again, I started off with some RC20, then I cut the lows, and I cut some of the harsh frequencies with an EQ. Here's what the melody sounds like now. I opened up this one-shot flute sample, and I laid down a couple notes. I opened up this flute preset in Contact and I laid down this melody. I'm coupling this flute with the one-shot because having multiple articulations of the flute makes it sound less computerized. I linked both the one-shot and the Contact flute to a mixer track and I applied some effects. I added more RC20, a flanger, some reverb and delay, and lastly a parametric EQ just to dip out some of the more harsh frequencies. Here's what our flute melody sounds like now. On the master channel, I applied some gross beat, some isotope vinyl, and an EQ. I'm going to automate them on the intro section of the melody. Here's what the melody sounds like all together. Now it's time to add some drums. I laid down a clap. I made this hat pattern. I laid down an open hat. I added a perk. I made this kick pattern. I made this 808 melody. Here's what the drums sound like all together. Alright, that's pretty much everything. Let's see what we've come up with.
Jay made the beat, so we mixing them perfect.